Look! Look, the dynamic duo!
Hey guys, welcome to the Dynamic Duo. I'm Franz.
I'm Kevin. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Bat Cave and the temporary home of Avengers Tower. It is time to get into the deepest, darkest parts of the comic book universe and find out what is going on with the Avengers, with the Bat, and with all concerned.
Lots going on in the field of the superhero world. What did you want to talk about today?
Basically, I need to bow and give props to Marvel Entertainment. It appears as though our favorite wall crawler has hit more than 1 billion views for his upcoming movie. And I have to admit, even though I have some concerns about the new movie, Marvel may be on their way back, babies.
1 billion views. First of all, it shattered the 24-hour view record. Shattered it. The previous record had been like something like 300 million. And the trailer view for Brand New Day was over 700 million. Over 700 million. It more than doubled the previous record. It doubled it. That's huge. And it didn't slow down. It's going down to, as you said, now over 1 billion views. This thing is generating the highest level of interest you could possibly dream of. That's huge. Now, what does that mean? And what is the lesson that we should learn from there? And for me, what it means, first of all, is that all the naysayers that were saying, you know, superhero fatigue and Marvel is over, there's no more superheroes. Guess what? You were absolutely and ridiculously wrong. That was never the case. And I think I said that in the previous show. I talked about that in the previous show. But basically, that's not what was going on. What was going on was we were going from A-list characters to B-list characters. And Marvel got to the point of hubris thinking they can make $1 billion out of B-list characters and C-list characters. They were successful with Guardians of the Galaxy, and they thought, oh, we can't do no wrong. And they made $1 billion with Captain Marvel, and they were like, wait, we really can't do no wrong because not only is it a B-list character, but the movie wasn't even that good and still made $1 billion. People were loving Thor Ragnarok, which is a piece of crap. So they were like, okay, let's do Love and Thunder. So in addition to using C-list characters, the quality of some of the material, not all of it, but of some of them, because we have to remember during that time, Black Panther 2 was coming out. That's a high quality movie. But the quality of some of the material got less. And so obviously interest got reduced. I mean, it's just, you can't expect the Avengers to be the Thunderbolts. And when you come out with movies like the Marvels, and then it's characters nobody really knows, and the quality, it's a terrible movie. It's like, I remember, Ant-Man made however much it made. And people are criticizing Ant-Man for making like $800 million. That's Ant-Man. It's Ant-Man. That's not a reflection of superhero fatigue. It's a reflection on a desire for quality material. Now, that's number one. The lesson we should learn, however, about this, what Marvel should learn, the lesson that Marvel should learn is very, very simple. It is clear as day, Kevin, that what we've been saying from the beginning has always been right. That is to say, the closer you stick to the source material, the more successful you will be. I just watched a documentary about the making of Sam Raimi's first Spider-Man movie. and about how the studios got involved and all the different things that they were running into, and how Sam Raimi had to keep to his vision and so on and so forth. And it's like it's this lack of belief in the source material that's killing us. Okay. And it's been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that if you take a character like Wolverine and you bring him to the source material and you give him his costume and you give him his powers the way they're supposed to be, people are going to respond to it more than not. Same thing is happening with Spider-Man. You take, and Wolverine and Spider-Man are the perfect example of what I'm talking about. You've got the exact same circumstance, Kevin. So in other words, it's a perfect test study. You've got the exact same circumstance. You have the same actor, Hugh Jackman, Tom Holland, right? You've got them playing the same character, Wolverine and Spider-Man, correct? But you've got Wolverine in a black costume, and a pseudo costume, and a no mask, and a not quite Wolverine. And the name Wolverine will give you some results. It will give you results. And so Wolverine, the X-Men, we're miring around the $200, $300 million mark, right? And you take that same actor, same character, and you bring him closer to the source material with his costume, and it goes from 300, 400 to a billion. Tom Holland, same thing, same actor, same character. But what do? You change the character of Spider-Man. And even to a generation that doesn't know our generation's Spider-Man, you give them a new Spider-Man. You tweak the costume in a way that doesn't quite make him Spider-Man. You change his rogues gallery. And the interest is that it's pretty high because Spider-Man is a big name. You change the interest to 800 million to now potentially 2 billion. So the lesson is clear. So when they're approaching Doomsday, when they're approaching Fantastic Four, when they're approaching any future material, I hope the lesson finally takes hold that you don't need to be afraid of the source material. And give us the costume, give us Tarantula as he is, give us Scorpion. I just discovered something with the Scorpion costume, and I'm so disappointed. When you look very, very closely, you realize he's not wearing the Scorpion costume. He's wearing a Scorpion harness. And it's like, come on. Come on.
To be honest, Franz, I saw the harness from the very beginning. I really did. I saw it when I first looked at the trailer. And although I think this movie is going to do incredibly well, and I truly do, there is a part of me that, and please forgive me, I believe partly that the audience is going to be disappointed by the story. Part of my concern with this film is that they are doing the same thing they did with No Way Home, which is they're filling it up with a lot of the villains, but the story is being sacrificed. And that is what I'm worried about. I don't want to go into any movie, especially for a genre like the comic book and superhero material that we follow, and have it fall short because the story is crap. And that's what I'm worried about with this. That won't leave my mind. It really won't. If you remember, when we went to see Guardians 3 I said to you that I didn't think it was going to work, and it didn't. It
No, it
fell
didn't.
apart. A big portion of what bothered me about Shang-Chi is that you didn't really have a story with that movie. And they only involved Ben Kingsley from the same platform level that they did with Jack Nicholson and others as the Joker. It's like, oh, Ben Kingsley is a villain in these things. He's playing the Mandarin, which didn't work the way they did it. And then to throw him into the Shang-Chi piece as an actor that didn't know what he was doing was stupid. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that was stupid. And the story with Shang-Chi did not work.
No.
It fell apart.
Cool. Hey guys, as we always say, there are a lot of very important things that are going on in the world, and we do this show not to ignore those things, but we do it in spite of those things. And I encourage all of you to educate yourselves. There are a lot of channels out there that give you good information about what's going on, and I recommend that you guys, there's I can't yeah, the Majority Report. Go to the Majority Report on YouTube, and you'll get some really good information, and it just starts from there. I can't think of all the names right now, but
I agree with you. I agree with you 1,000%. And I'm worried that, listen, your concern is legitimate. Your concern is legitimate. You're concerned that the movie and the stories are going to fall apart. It's not going to hold water. You're concerned that too many characters and therefore the part of the story is going to be diluted. And the reason that you're concerned about that is that you've seen that happen. And the very last one, that's pretty much, I agree that that's what happened with that movie. It was too all over the place, and the movie itself wasn't a good linear strong story. The other concern is the fact that, to be honest with you, it's the same director. And by the way, the same thing happened with Shang-Chi. It's the same director from Shang-Chi that's doing Spider-Man. So Shang-Chi, for me, fell apart in many, many different ways. The story, there was a story there but it wasn't really delivered well. It wasn't delivered, I don't think, poorly. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't Thor Ragnarok or certainly Love and Thunder, but it wasn't delivered well. Some of the action sequences were pretty good. We're okay, but nothing that's going to make me write home and call you over the phone and say, "Oh my God, you've got to check out this movie." But where the movie fell apart for me, it would have been okay. But where the movie fell apart to me is the moment they introduced Ben Kingsley in the movie, and the way he portrayed his character, the silliness, and then having the little butt little thing, and from then on, the quality of the movie, in my opinion, just went down, and it just wasn't a strong, well delivered movie. So you've got a lot of reasons to be concerned. I'm not disagreeing with you. I think, however, I've seen directors get better. I've seen directors go from making a good movie to a bad movie, and then sometimes making a bad movie to a good movie. I've seen that. I think James Gunn delivered a wonderful movie in Guardians of the Galaxy, and then it just fell down. I clung on to the hope that James Gunn is a good director. I've given up that hope because of Superman. I've given up. He needs to be fired. But I've seen directors go from good to bad, and I've seen studios get in the way of making movies. So it's not necessarily the director's fault. And having seen those things, and now seeing the trailer, I am not sharing your concern. I understand your concern, but I'm not sharing your concern because it seems to me that there is a strong through line. There is a strong plot. there is character development. It seems to me that they're bringing it. And again, I'll reiterate the fact that they're going back to trying to give us that 60s, 70s, 80s Spider-Man bodes well. Sometimes I make a mistake. Sometimes it's so important, I'm such a purist that anytime they give me something that's close to the source material, I get so excited that I put blinders on and I overlook quality because I'm like, oh, why they gave him a superhero costume? That's a better movie. I've made that mistake before, and you've taught me not to make that mistake. You've opened my eyes to that. When I saw Ant-Man Quantumania, I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I've seen a lot worse movies. I think Ragnarok is a lot worse, but I overlooked certain things because I was happy to see it closer to the source. Kang was kind of Kang, and even MODOK was kind of MODOK, except that you pointed out, you opened my eyes to realize that, hey, wait, he looks like MODOK, but that's not MODOK at all. That's a completely opposite. That's a silly MODOK. That's like a terrible MODOK. So I can make that mistake too, but looking at it as objectively as I can, I am not seeing what you're seeing as a concern for this movie yet. It doesn't mean that it can't turn out to be that, but I'm not seeing that.
I hope you're right, partner. I really hope you're right.
Guys, let us know what you think. Let us know what you think. What do you think about Brand New Day? Are you excited for it? Are you planning to see it? Do you think it looks good? Do you think it's going to deliver? Do you think it's going to be awesome? Let us know. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. Help out this channel. By the way, Kevin, we need to do a show celebrating our 1,000 subscribers.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.